Welcome in to Cottonwood High School for KSL Sports Rewind's Game of the Week, as we've got an old school rivalry and a region kickoff as the Murray Spartans take to the road to take on the Cottonwood Colts. Thank you for joining us, everyone. My name is Dane Stewart, excited to bring you this contest here tonight between two programs that, a lot of history between these two. And we'll start with the visiting Murray Spartans. They're coming in off of what's been a tough streak. They started the year off extremely well, but they've lost a couple of their last games. Coach Workman and his group trying to get back on the winning side of things as they kick off region play here in Region 10. But really, it's a balanced lineup for Coach Workman. You have a guy like Quentin Chrisman, the senior, averaging 14 points a game, 5 assists per game. Trace Wilson, who can be really dynamic, also a double-figure scorer. Deacon Poole's been 11 points a game. They have 4 guys who average double-figure scoring, and they can all carry their own load on the glass, and they move the basketball. It's a really balanced Murray squad. Meanwhile, for Cottonwood, look, they made their run in the state tournament last year. They had so much graduation, and then Chris Cox transferred out of the program over the summer, but guess who's back? You see him right there, number 0, his first game back in Cottonwood in his senior season. Chris Cox back in the lineup for the Colts, and it's been a group that they've welcomed in, a transfer in John Rosevear. They have had other guys step up like Luke Park. He's averaged 12 points per game, the junior point guard, super speedy. But when you welcome back Chris Cox, a young man who scored over 20 points per game last year, now all of a sudden this lineup for Cottonwood going to be really tough in Region 10 and in 4A. Can't wait to see what Cox has in store as his first game as a senior here at Cottonwood here tonight as the Cottonwood Colts prepare to take on the Murray Spartans. Murray in the black and orange, Cottonwood in the home whites, as we're set for tonight's opening tip-off. Want to let you know the clock you see on your screen, unofficial. At times we'll start it early, stop it late, that sort of thing, to keep it trued up or close with the official game clock here in the building. Colts, Spartans, ready to go on our Game of the Week. And the opening tip controlled by Cottonwood. They're looking right to Christopher Cox, a big 6'8" forward. And that one just missed as Murray gets the opening stop. Here comes the Spartans. We talked about the balance they have offensively. Here's Q Chrisman. Talk about him in the open. That one kept back to Q. It's a team that they take a lot of threes, but they don't rely on the three. If it's there, they'll take it. Here's Chrisman with the first three made for Murray on the road as the visiting Spartan student section races to their feet behind the Spartan bench. A little bit of pressure here from Murray. Cottonwood into the front court. Here's Cox out of the corner. Chris looking to drive. Hanging, hitting, and one. Chris Cox drawing the contact, and he'll head to the line as that foul called on Whitlock. That's his first. Expect to see a lot of that tonight. And you see a very well-built, deep student section for Cottonwood as Chris Cox makes the free throw, and we're tied up at 3. Across the timeline here with Deacon Poole. They come near side. This is Q. Thought about that junction J. Instead gives this over with Poole. Deacon in the paint. High off the window. Count that. And the foul. Deacon Poole now will head to the line for his opportunity at three-point play as Oguama called for his first personal. Free throw, good. Back to a three-point lead for Murray. That was Park who had it. Sends over with Rosevear. Back to Luke. Oguama to Cox. Defended here by Romaldo. Working, trying to dump that off inside to Cizez. This is out off of Murray. And it will be Cottonwood, the inbound baseline. Into the corner, Rosevear, catch and shoot, won't go. And on the box out, that was Whitlock able to take care and to secure the rebound. Murray top 10 in the RPI. Talking with Coach Miller, said this would be big for our RPI as Chrisman, little fade away, too strong, Cox with it. And Murray there thought maybe a carry. That ball did come in on the body of Cox, but able to handle it okay. Chris in the paint, hanging off the front of the rim, gets his own miss. Trying again, short again. And the rebound to Murray. Here's Chrisman working with Poole. This is Wilson. Trace had a nice game against Kearns when we saw them just 2 weeks ago. Trace dribbling out of the corner, working back. Poole now on the penetration. Oh, nice little pivot there. Heads up decision making from Deacon Poole. He's got 5 early on here in this opening quarter. As you continue to see Murray with that pressure, Cottonwood able to work it up. 5.5 to go here, opening quarter. Oh, nice find over to Cizez. All started on that dribble penetration. A nice handoff to the 6'6" freshman center, Luca Cizez. We'll see plenty of him in the coming years. And now a foul. This will go against Cottonwood. I think Cox going to pick up his first. Indeed, that's the call.
That's the first foul, Chris Cox. Second team foul.
Second team foul on Cottonwood here in this opening frame. Whitlock handing that back over to Poole, working inside but couldn't get it. Now a run out. Rosevear going to catch up with this one in the corner. And Rosevear, we talked about his production coming over from Brighton. He's carried a lot of the offensive load, he and Luke Park, in the earlier part of the year. And now with Cox, can't wait to see how he takes advantage of that. That blocked. Boy, nice job there by Romaldo. He had the early defensive assignment on Cox, and that time gets the block. Murray setting up here once again. Here's Poole, Worth Chrisman. Open for Q. That three was just short. Tapped wide. Romaldo can't save that as it's into the bench. It'll go back to the Colts. Good environment here tonight. Good student sections from both sides. And we talk about the Region 10 opener for these two. Cox. Back over with Park. Chris. We'll send to Rosevear. A little zone here from Murray. They like this 1-3-1. Rosevear, that three. Might have been deflected there by Poole. Poole trying to drive on Oguama. Got a step off the window. Good quick take and a timeout taken as Deacon Poole has 7 points in the opening quarter. Murray with a 10-5 lead on the road. You're watching KSL Sports Rewind's Game of the Week, presented by Heidemann & Associates. Welcome back. If you have any legal needs, the experts at Heidemann & Associates can take care of you. It's a full-service law firm. They can meet with you virtually. They also have law offices along the Wasatch Front. To find the law office nearest you, visit utah.law. Heidemann & Associates, our presenting sponsor of KSL Sports Rewind's Game of the Week. Out of the timeout. Let's see if Cottonwood can get into the flow of their offense. They'll look to the bench here. The next whistle is Bo Smith to the table. And a foul here up high as this will go against Poole, trying to come out and defend Cox there. Be the first personal on Deacon Poole. And now we do see Bo Smith checking in, the 6'3 junior. Will come on the floor here. This is Bo. Cox being defended now by Isaiah Bay, who came in off the bench. Cox pull-up three, able to hit it. Let his student section know that's a triple. First three for Chris Cox tonight. Ooh, dangerous pass. That just kept in. Just kept in the front court, I should say. And now a whistle here. This call away from the basketball, and this will go on Luke Park. That'll be his first. Third team foul on Cottonwood. As a substitution, they will bring Mason Tully on, the Colts will. Quick shot off the inbound, too strong in the corner. Last touch by Murray. That'll go to Cottonwood. Talked about Murray. They're not afraid to shoot those threes, shooting at about a 33% clip coming into this contest. They hit an early one. That was hit by Chrisman. Haven't hit one since. Park trying to work against Q. Will send with Tully. Hanging, too strong, backside board won't go, and a foul here going to be called on Romaldo. Be the first on Mateus, the third team foul. It's called on the shot, and so Bo Smith here working to the line. He's got a pair of free throws. Bo Smith, a 6'3" junior. Doesn't average a ton of points, about 5 a game coming into this one tonight. But shoots well from the floor, over 50% from the floor. As Tengiz Bayaskalin, my apologies, on the floor as Cox gets that miss and put back. And we're tied up at 10 apiece. Tengiz Bayaskalin, number 23, the young man who just came on the floor, had the closeout there as that three won't go for Q. And a loose ball foul here going to go against Cox. And that will be the second on Christopher Cox. He's going to have to come off the floor here. Rosevear will check in. Cox with 8 of the 10 for Cottonwood here in this opening frame. 2.5 to go here. Romaldo work back up top. Little zone look here for the Colts. Trap in the corner, able to get that out. Chrisman working back. Plenty of time on the shot clock here, but a three from Poole. On the skip, Deacon Poole hitting that three for Murray. What a first quarter for Deacon Poole. He's got 10 in this opening quarter. There's Tully. Smith over with Tully. Shot clock down to 10. Rosevear. He found a gap. Takes the shot off the mark. Rebounded there by Bay. Deacon Poole. Averaging 11 a game. He's got 10 here already. Oh, Bay left alone in that zone. Isaiah Bay with his first field goal tonight. The 6'4" sophomore. Great job of finding that little gap. A quick pass inside and a quick flick of the wrist. That shot's up and good. 5-point lead. Inside of a minute to go here. Opening quarter. Rosevear working back. Boy, who's going to take a shot here for Cottonwood? That ball's moving.
Ball's out of bounds on Murray. Cottonwood basketball. 11 seconds on the shot clock.
Haven't been able to get real good looks. Cottonwood here will have it on the side. The substitution. Whitlock going to come back on the floor here for the Spartans as Romaldo will come off. Late substitution to the table. Cizez coming on. Tully looking to drive, will float it up and good. Mason Tully, nice shot there on the little runner in the lane. Shot clock, game clock aligned here to close out this first quarter. Here's Q. Little extended zone here. That one deflected, but found its way to Bay. Isaiah working to the rim. Tough shot, won't go. That is tapped out, and it will go back to Cottonwood here with 9 seconds to go here in the quarter. Substitution back on the floor. Luke Park will check back in here for Cottonwood. I was curious if they'd bring Cox on to close out the frame, but they will not. Park dribbled it. That was intended for Rosevear. Deflected at the rim. No call. Bay the heave from half court just short, and that will do it. First quarter in the books. 15-12. Murray with the lead over Cottonwood. You're watching KSL Sports Rewind's Game of the Week presented by Heidemann and Associates. Want to thank Cottonwood High School, Greg Southwick, Coach Miller, everyone here making sure we're good to go with their hospitality. Always love coming to Cottonwood, especially for this matchup. Was joking with Coach Miller, second year in a row we've had this matchup at Cottonwood, and becoming an annual tradition of KSL Sports Rewind's Game of the Week. Murray will have the basketball here to start this second quarter with a 3-point lead. It was a good first quarter for Deacon Poole, had 10 points. He's got it now, being defended by Rosevear. Working inside, Bay trying to back down. Nice take, Isaiah Bay. Boy, that's good work in the block for the sophomore. That's a familiar name for Murray. We've seen a lot of Bays come through the girls' side. Isaiah, the first one I recall on the boys' side, is a foul here on the attempt. We'll send Jez to the line here as Chrisman picking up his first team foul on Murray in the second quarter. And so Jez, the freshman, with a pair of free throws here. As the freshman good on the first. I was talking with Coach Miller. He was excited to see this young man in the starting lineup tonight. 6'6". Jez making them both 2 for 2 on the trip. Inside. Here's Bay trying to drive on Smith. Bay off the glass.
Number 11, Isaiah Bay.
It was the first quarter for Poole. It's been Isaiah Bay who may have 6 straight points for Murray. Here's Tully. And fouled here. That's nice use of kind of change of pace there by Mason Tully. A little bit of a just hesitation stutter there. Had that defense come up on him and allowed a drive there. That's the second team foul. Cox back on the floor. Oguama back on the floor for Cottonwood. Rosevear dribbling out of the corner, hanging, hitting.
Number 4, John Rosevear.
John Rosevear with his first points tonight coming on that drive. Out of the corner. Nelson works up top. Bay. Oh, deflected by Oguama. Run out here for Cottonwood. Oguama fouled on the attempt, and Peter now will head to the line to shoot a pair. There's the foul here on Nelson.
Number 23, Caden Nelson. That's his second.
Will be his second. So Peter Oguama had the stripe here for 2.
First one.
As he scores his first point tonight. One more here for Oguama. Makes them both. Good looking free throws. 1 point contest. Poole on the drive. That was deflected. And they will not count that. Murray would say that should be a goaltending. It happened so quick, I couldn't tell. Peter will pick up the foul here, as it'll be the second personal on Oguama, and will will send Deacon Poole here to the line. He'll have a pair of free throws. First team foul on Cottonwood here in this second quarter. As that free throw rims out for Poole. So Guama with 2 and Cox with 2 here for Cottonwood in this first half. As Poole splits the trip, back to a 2-point lead. Deacon Poole now at his average 11 points tonight. Here's Rosevear. Over with Park. Cox working near side, has the 3. That was off the front of the rim, skipped across. Good look there for Chris. That one blocked. Boy, nice play there by Luca with the block, and it'll be Cottonwood basketball. Cottonwood basketball. Here's Park. Skips over Rosevear into Cox from the corner. That was deflected on closeout by Poole, but Oguama's there to put it up and in. Tied up at 20. Quick on the other side, Bay. Little pull-up jumper there for Isaiah. He's got 8. Inside, Oguama will send out Park. He'll just take a step inside, baseline 2 there for Luke Park as he's able to score his first field goal tonight. Approaching the midway point, baseline drive, they'll work to Bay for 3. Good look there for Isaiah. Up to Cox. Chris hanging too strong. Kept here. Rosevear looking for the outlet. It finds its way to Park. Now Cox straight away. That pass deflected, but Cox able to maintain. Space. Chris for 3. Short. And Bay with the board. And a timeout here taken by Murray. 4:25 left here. First half timeout. Murray. You're watching KSL Sports Rewind's coverage of Region 10 opener on KSLSports.com. Good look at the Cottonwood student section. Here to support their Colts. They were ecstatic the moment that Chris Cox was introduced in the opening lineup. Got off to a good start. He's missed a couple shots late. Or as of late, I should say. Talking with Coach Miller, said, it's like he never left. We ran a bunch of stuff with him in the spring, the summer. We just went back to what we were doing then. Was gone for a couple of months, didn't play anywhere else inside the state of Utah. That transfer and everything went through the UHSA, was approved, and first game back here for Cox tonight has 8 in this first half. As that shot, couldn't tell if it was deflected or not. Certainly off target as Oguama working over to Cox. That deflected away inside, but Cox able to defend and keep it here with Cottonwood. Oguama will take the 3, rimmed out. Chris, that length, keeping it here, going up, count it. And 1 for Cox. As he's now in double figures, and an opportunity to head to the line here to make it a 3-point lead is Romualdo picking up his second personal and the 4th team foul on Murray in this second quarter. Cox hadn't had one opportunity to start the game. That one just strong on the free throw. Past the midway point here of second quarter. Q works to Poole. Got Cox in the air, steps underneath, just short. Rebounded there by Smith. Up ahead, Oguama working back. Cottonwood going to be deliberate. Park gives to Peter in the lane. Up just off the mark. Offensive board too strong from Smith. And a foul called inside. Will send Bo Smith to the line. line as this foul against Trace Wilson, his first. Boy, the Murray bench, they did not like that call. And I think part of it might have just been the lateness of that call, but you saw the official come in and say, hey, you got him on the forearm. And it didn't appear as though Coach Workman had a ton of reservation on that call, but the Murray faithful did not like it. At the line, Smith, good on the first.
Checking into the game for Murray, number 11, Isaiah Bay. And
been a 10-2 run here from Cottonwood. One more coming up here for the junior, Bo Smith. And he hits them both. Unofficially first points tonight for Bo. Oh, nice cut. Bay inside, and Chris Cox going to pick up the third. Boy, Isaiah, great move without the basketball, and Cox is trying to close down on it. Isaiah hits the brakes, and Cox just gets into him. And the official seeing it, calling it. Cox going to have to come off the floor here, having just picked up his third. Bay at the line, good on the first.
That's number 11, Isaiah Bay. Checking into the game for Cottonwood, number 21.
Guama will check in here for Christopher Cox. Meanwhile, to the table, Drew Dixon for Murray set to come on, and he will indeed come on for Whitlock.
Drew Dixon.
One more here for Isaiah Bay. Now in double figures, Bay having just scored his 10th point. With 8 of those coming in this second quarter. He scored 8 of the 9 for Murray in this second frame. Oguama from the corner. Oh, gets the roll. Peter Oguama with the triple for Cottonwood. Chrisman crossing up, driving off the window, won't go. And the board capture there by Tolley. Cottonwood on the run. Rosevear thought about it, looking to drive into the teeth of that defense. Will send. Rosevear looking for help. Boy, feisty defense here from Murray. Oguama gives back. Rosevear, the three. John Rosevear with his first three-pointer tonight. Pushes it to an 8-point Cottonwood lead. And that one given up. Was expecting to roll off that screen. The timing and placement not where it was thought to be. Cottonwood a chance to go up by double figures here. 2 minutes to go in this first half. Here's Oguama. Now Rosevear, shot clock down to 10. Oh, that ball found its way through somehow to Bo Smith, who does finish. 34-24. That ball threaded into Chrisman, able to recapture it. Sent out. Poole for three. No. Rebounded by Smith. Good look there for Deacon Poole, who had 10 in the first quarter. Hasn't hit a field goal in this second. Oguama to Smith. And Cottonwood has taken control of this game. A 21-4 run makes it a 12-point Colt lead. Timeout, Murray. This game was 20-15. Murray led. And the run, we talk about Chris Cox and the excitement of him being back. In this second quarter, he's just scored 2 of their 24 points. So everyone else starting to find their opportunities and capitalize on them for Cottonwood has been the difference as they have stormed ahead to this 12-point lead. Trying to close out this first half confidently. Meanwhile, for Murray, well, the offense looked good early. Where do they go here? Poole inside to Bay. He's been the guy. And Isaiah Bay with another field goal. He's got 10 here in the second, 12 in the game. Is this stolen by Chrisman? The pressure paying off. Q over to Bay. Extra pass, baseline block by Oguama. Had a chance to see Cottonwood earlier this year and really loved the approach that I saw from Peter Oguama, and he's been that way again tonight. Been aggressive defensively as this worked inside, and that one could not get an opportunity away. Will stay here.
Just a hair under 50 on the game.
The three on the way and good. That's who Murray needs. Trace Wilson, his first points tonight. It's a critical three for Murray as they cut it to 7. 8-second differential. Game clock to shot clock. Oguama to Tully. That blocked by Wilson. Trace up to Q. He had Bay, couldn't get it to him. Shot clock turned off. Handed over. That shot just wouldn't go, and a foul called on the attempt. Drew Dixon will go to the line as Rosevear picking up his first personal. Substitutions for Murray. Blake Vega Chand and Caden Nelson ready to come back on the floor for the Spartans. 2 free throws here, and that one just rimmed out for Dixon. Has one more here. Meanwhile, Luke Park going to run to the table here for Cottonwood.
Sorry, for Cottonwood.
Second free throw here for Dixon. Good. As we get the substitution. First point tonight for Drew Dixon as he'll come off the floor here for these final 15 seconds. Still in that zone. Oguama back with Park. 5 seconds. Luke will pull up. Short, rebounded by Murray, and that will do it. First half in the books. Oh, and they said that counted. Isaiah Bay just missed the shot to end the first quarter. He hits the half quarter to end the half. As they say that shot was off in time, it'll count. 36-33 as Isaiah Bay has a second quarter to keep Murray in it. It's a 3-point game at the break. You're watching KSL Sports Rewind's Game of the Week, presented by Heidemann & Associates on KSLSports.com. Getting ready to start our second half. It was a second quarter of runs. It was about a 24-9 run for Cottonwood, and Murray closed out on a 9-2 run, including the half-court heave from Isaiah Bay to cut it to a 1-possession difference as we start this second half. It'll be Cottonwood basketball. We'll go through unofficial scoring leaders as we pick up play here.
All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The start of the second.
Colts with the lead. Unofficial scores, 10 for Chris Cox to lead the way, 6 for Bo Smith, 6 for Peter Oguama. Meanwhile, 5 for that young man Rosevear, 4 for Cizez, and 2 for Park and Tully apiece to round it out for Cottonwood. Meanwhile, for Murray, it was 2 standout players that had their own quarters that they owned. Poole had 10 in the first, 11 at the break. Isaiah Bay had 13 of his 15 in that second quarter. Those are your top 2 scores for Murray. 3 for Chrisman, 3 for Wilson, and 1 for Drew Dixon to round out the 33. As that pass deflected, Oguama keeps it. Will take the 3 that missed. And Bay with the board. Deacon Poole had 10 in the first, 13 in the second for Bay. Who's going to be the double-digit scorer in the third for Murray? Could it be this young man? Poole back from the corner. And Deacon Poole has tied it up at 36 apiece. Meanwhile, Chris Cox back on the floor, playing here with 3 personal fouls. Oh, Bay trying to... Oh, they gets the call. An offensive foul called on Chris Cox.
Offensive foul called on number 0, Chris Cox.
And so that'll be number 4. Cox will have to come off the floor.
Checking into the game for Cottonwood, number 32.
Bay was all smiles knowing that he just put the best player of Cottonwood back on the bench. And look, if you're Isaiah Bay, he doesn't have a foul, so you can try to bait and get that call. It worked. As a foul inside, going to go against Cottonwood. It'll be Murray basketball underneath. And I don't mean to say that that wasn't a charge. That's a call. You make the official make a call one way or another. As the foul here called on Oguama, that'll be the 3rd on Peter. So 4 on Cox, 3 on Oguama. The bigs for Cottonwood, the foul's starting to add up as 2 quick fouls on Cottonwood in this 3rd. Back to Poole. He'll try another 3. And Deacon Poole hits another 3. Unofficially, a 15-2 run now put on by Murray. And a foul here. That's before that pass. Will be the first team foul on Murray in this 3rd quarter, as it will be called on Chrisman, his 2nd.
That's his 2nd foul.
No, sorry. Wilson called for the foul, his 2nd. We talked about that big 2nd quarter for Murray. For Cottonwood, they scored 24 points. Only 2 of those came from Cox, so other guys have picked up the load as Rosevear misses that 3. Here's Bay. In with Whitlock, sends out Chrisman the 3. No. And Oguama able to collapse down, jar that ball loose, and we'll get a dual possession. The arrow will keep it here with Murray.
Jump ball call, it looks like. Jump ball.
Murray baseline. Poole. Isaiah finding Whitlock, a little bit of space there, sends back up top. Here's Wilson for 3. The 3rd 3 for Murray in this 3rd quarter, and a timeout taken by Murray as the 3 ball is pushed into a 6-point lead for the Spartans. Just under 5.5 to go, 3rd quarter. Cottonwood basketball, trailing by 6. They led by double figures in that 2nd quarter. The percentage game for Murray and that 3 ball helping bring them back in. Here's Rosevear. Little spin in the paint, John Rosevear. Good, tough bucket for the junior. Little baseline drive, sends to Poole. Another Murray 3. Deacon Poole with his 4th 3 of the game, 3 of them here in the 3rd quarter. Rosevear working to Park. Oguama, patience, giving back to Luke as he'll dribble out. Here's Rosevear. Has Oguama in the corner, the 3. Yes, Peter Oguama with the response for Cottonwood. 2nd made triple for Oguama tonight. Bay hanging off the window, won't go. 2nd opportunity short. And Cottonwood able to possess. That one's stolen by Wilson. Numbers, Bay. Oh, blocked away by Smith. Nice defensive play, but last to touch it was the Cottonwood Colts. Will stay here with Murray. Well, that's a 3-on-1. That's a great defensive play to prevent the shot there. We've seen a number of blocks on both sides tonight. Good active defenses for each group. Midway point of this third quarter as Wilson back with Whitlock, now worked around. Chrisman sending over Wilson, another three. Strong, and Bay here will be called for the foul. Loose ball foul here on Isaiah Bay, his first. Substitutions here for Murray, Austin Patterson and Matias Romaldo. Here's Rosevear. Will send to the corner. Smith finding a little bit of space. Nice pass over to the freshman. Luca has scored in every frame tonight for Cottonwood. Back to a 2-point difference. Poole handing to Wilson. Off the glass, Trace. I really like his game. You watch Trace Wilson. He's got a good combination aspect, good quickness, good length. Just a junior. Rosevear will try the three. That was just a touch short. And the board gathered by Murray. Wilson thought about the transition three. A little step back will work over. Wilson, that's a tough J, contested from 15. Smith with the board. Rosevear trying to push it. Little pirouette taken away by Poole. And how about the retreat there by Luke Park? No rear view mirror on the fast break, and Park able to knock it out will allow the defense to get back and set up as Mason Tolley coming on the floor here for Cottonwood. And one more sub here for Cottonwood. Tengus coming back on here. Wilson right back to the inbounder. Poole. Oh, good cut. Chrisman through the lane. Q. Give the floor number good. 2 minutes left here in the third quarter. Cox been on the bench for the majority of it with that fourth personal foul. A drive, and yeah, I was going to say, have to have a call there. They do call the block. As this will go on Poole.
Number 12.
A little bit what I said earlier in the quarter, you put the official in position, they got to make a call. Tolley being very aggressive on the drive there. A blocking foul called, and Tolley here now with 2 free throws makes the first. One more here for Mason. As he makes them both.
And the second.
Cottonwood scrapping to hang around here in this third quarter. Poole inside, yeah. Deacon Poole showing he's got a little more than the long ball to his game, as he's got 22 points unofficially tonight. The foul called here away from the basketball will go on Poole, and that'll be the third on the senior Deacon Poole, and a timeout taken here by Coach Workman and the Murray Spartans. Timeout Murray, 30-second. We'll be back after this. 51-45, the advantage for Murray. They're talking about the 3-ball tonight. 8 made threes, I believe, if quick math works. Been several of them here in the third quarter, have 4 of them. Has helped Murray come from what was a double-digit deficit to a 6-point lead here. Minute and a half to go in the third. Tengus working out. Tengus Bay trying to work baseline over to Oguama. Little right-hand hook won't go. Rebounded there by Romualdo. The senior, I don't have him scoring tonight, but he's made some nice defensive plays. Oh, at that time, Chrisman had a great move to get into the lane, but just left it a touch strong. Here's Oguama. Inside, Luka blocked away by Wilson. But that ball out of play will stay here.
Last touch by Murray, Cottonwood basketball. 56 seconds in the quarter.
Cottonwood will inbound. Here's Tengus. Oguama tried to send that to Park. The length of Nelson, able to steal it away out of the air. Long 3 from Wilson. No. Rebounded by Oguama. And a loose ball foul here going to be called underneath, I believe, on Patterson. And that will be the case, be the first personal on the junior. And we'll walk down and take free throws here. Is 15 foul there for Murray with 34 seconds left here in the quarter. So Oguama has a pair of free throws. First free throw here for Oguama.
First one's good.
Oguama making them both. Quick substitution for Murray. John Rosevear back on the floor for these final, presumably final 34 seconds. Wilson over with Patterson. Good defense here by Cottonwood, trying to make it tough. Chrisman had some room, sends out Wilson, the 3. Off the mark, offensive board, the kick out, no one home. It'll be Cottonwood basketball with 13 seconds left.
14 seconds remaining in the third. 14 seconds.
Cottonwood will get one more chance, get one possession to close it out. That tipped into the backcourt by the D of Chrisman. Park worked over, 3 from Rosevear, fouled on the shot, and John Rosevear will head to the line to take 3 free throws with 1.8 seconds left. Well, that was a foul the moment it was called. Coach Workman turned around like, we fouled them on a 3. Coaches, those are ones that no coach loves. You like the hard closeout, but man, a foul in that situation, always tough to give up as Rosevear misses the first. Two more here for John. That one good. Substitution, Bay back on the floor here for Murray.
1.8 seconds on the clock.
Rosevear to make it a 2-point difference. He does. Look for Bay. It'll be Wilson, and that will do it. 3 quarters in the books. It's a 2-point ball game. Murray with the lead against their Region 10 rival in the Region 10 opener. You're watching KSL Sports Rewind's Game of the Week, presented by Heidemann and Associates. Start of the fourth quarter. A look inside the Murray huddle. Boy, what a resilient effort from Murray tonight. They start out with the lead. They trailed by double figures. But boy, the way they came out in that third quarter, it was 3 Christopher Cox had picked up his 4th foul about a minute and a half into that third. They did not have him for the remainder of that third quarter. And now Cox back on the floor playing with 4 personals. Cottonwood would love to get their leader on his first game here in this senior season at Cottonwood running here in this 4th quarter. Cottonwood possession to start it off. 11 points in the third for Poole. He's got 22 in the game to lead all scorers. 15, meanwhile, for Bay. Here's Oguama. He'll pull up. Oh, that one just rattled out. Home rims not friendly to Peter Oguama there on the attempt. Here's Wilson. Bay trying to establish himself inside. Oh, Chris aggressive, nearly had that one. Little runner high off the window, won't go. Loose ball captured by Oguama. Here's Cox trying to drive, gives that to Smith. Bo. Oh, wanted to hand off to Rosevear. Just out of rhythm. It'll go back here to Murray. Back on the floor, Deacon Poole. What a night for the senior. 22 points, scored 10 in the first, 11 in the third. Has hit 4 threes tonight. What a ball game for Deacon Poole. Here's Chrisman. Q got the little angle, wouldn't go, and Cox with the board. Cox has 10. Here's Oguama. Peter, a little runner, yeah. Oguama in double figures tonight. Unofficially with 13. I think he might have 14. I think I missed one for him, but Q there, that three, boy. A big-time shot from Q Chrisman. His second made three tonight pushes the lead back for Murray. Cox defended by Romualdo. This was the opening defensive assignment that Murray had on Chris Cox tonight. As Rosevear. Here's Park for three. No, rebounded by Bay. Poole will give back to Chrisman. Inside to Bay. Park able to deflect that from behind. Oh, and Cox fouled here as he was trying to weave through the traffic there. As this called on Romualdo, and that'll be the third here on Matias.
Number 5 for Murray. Fouls on Matias Romualdo.
First team foul on Murray. My apologies. Here's Rosevear. Boy, Poole tough defensively as Poole coming up with the rebound. Here's Romualdo, work to Wilson. Baseline drive, sends to Poole, thought about the three, at least the bench did. Bay in the lane, wouldn't go, tapped up. And this one captured by Smith. Rosevear trying to drive, sends to Cox. Rosevear finding space in the corner, lets the defense fly by. Rosevear ties it up. And a timeout. No, excuse me. A technical called on Rosevear. So Rosevear hits the three, and then the official tees him up, and right now, boy, there's even in the crowd there was some fieriness. As to the line Chrisman making the first. And makes them both. So 4.5 to go, 2-point lead, Murray basketball. Here's Bay. Not much room there. Quickly up the floor for Cox, tried to save it, and that does end up being maintained. Rosevear will take the three. Just off the mark, rebound by Murray. Guama able to deflect it out, but it will be Spartan basketball nearing the midway point of this fourth and final quarter of regulation. There's Chrisman. Bay trying to post up Oguama. Oguama having the three personals. Bay attacking him. That was just short. And rebounded, cleared by Cottonwood. Cox trying to push it up the floor. Little step back three. Chris Cox gives the lead back to Murray, or to Cottonwood. His first field goal since the second quarter. 57-56. Poole, Smith there defensively, and he walked with it. Murray with a rare turnover. Been a pretty clean game tonight, but that time the traveling violation will give it back to the Colts. Both teams have trailed by double figures at various points tonight. Here's Cox. Hit the three, a possession to go. Defended by Romualdo. Here's Rosevear. Trying to drive. Cox. 7 on the shot clock. Will pull back, step back, won't go. Rebounded by Chrisman. Approaching 2.5 to go. And a timeout being taken by Coach Workman and Sparta. Murray basketball trailing by 1 when we come back. 2.5 to go. 57-56, Murray basketball. The difference right now was a three from Chris Cox. Playing with the 4. Off the inbound. They get it to Wilson. Uncontested. The lead back to Murray. 10 now for Trace. And just like the averages, 4 Murray Spartans in double figures tonight. Rosevear able to score it. Boy, that's a nice take there by John. He's got 14. And talk about the Murray Spartans, 4 players in double figures. Only 1 player has scored who's not in double figures, and that's Drew Dixon, who hit a free throw. The other 57 points all coming from 4 players for Murray tonight. Here's Bay. Give it to Wilson. Isaiah trying to drive. Oguama trying to stay vertical. Wilson able to just hold that shot back long enough to get it up and over the extension there. Cox running out of real estate, walking the boundary. My goodness.
1 minute and 26 seconds remaining.
The Murray bench thought may have had too many steps. Officials then call it. Chrisman spun away but couldn't keep it. And Murray gives it up. 1:19 to go in regulation. Cottonwood basketball with a 1-point lead. Full court pressure here for the Colts. Rosevear had that knocked away from behind, and Rosevear has to give the foul to not concede. exceed the bucket there. That'll be the second personal on Rosevear. So the pressure of Murray, again, able to force the steal, and it will be Murray basketball. The second team foul, I believe, on Cottonwood. As a quick substitution, Whitlock going to come back on the floor. And my apologies, I said the second on Rosevear. I think the PA said his third. Both teams with plenty of fouls to give. Just 2 team fouls for Cottonwood, 1 for Murray. Cox tried to stay vertical, hence the no whistle there as Wilson couldn't get the shot to go. The second attempt wouldn't go, and Wilson here will be called for the foul, and that will be his third.
64 seconds remaining in the game.
Murray now with their second team foul. As we approach the final 60 seconds. Rosevear trying to thread one, but a timeout taken before that shot. Timeout Cottonwood as Coach Miller with 56 seconds left wants to talk to the troops. Timeout Cottonwood. We'll be back. Coming out of the timeout, we talk about the Region 10 opener. One of these 2 teams going to start 1-0 in Region play. I think most people believe these probably the 2 best teams in Region 10. They're starting off facing off against one another. It's been a great ball game tonight, and been a great non-region really start for both these 2 teams. As they all matter now. Of course, they all matter with RPI, but with region championships on the line, every game from here on out going to be so important, as it'll be Cottonwood basketball here out of the timeout. Here's Oguama. Cox working inside, right at the rim. Chris Cox, the length, can't be defended. It's a 3-point lead as Cox now with 17. And the best part, if you're a Cottonwood fan, is they've got a 5-second differential. Game clock, shot clock. Romualdo off the screen, able to score it quickly. And official stoppage here is
2.6 seconds remaining
to get that to the inbound. And a timeout taken here by Cottonwood. 22 seconds left. Shot clock off for the remainder of the contest. Cottonwood basketball leading by 1 when we come back. Cottonwood basketball, 22 seconds left. 1 timeout remaining for the Colts. 2 team fouls on each side. So Murray can be quite aggressive here defensively as they have a couple fouls to give. Cottonwood getting that in to Oguama. You see that pressure and a foul called here with 18 seconds left.
Number 2.
As Chrisman being called for his second. 3rd team foul, so just 1 more foul to give here for Murray.
Hanging on to a 1-point lead.
Toy to inbound. In with Cox. Trying to navigate through the trap. Over with Rosevear. Boy, they had Oguama, but Rosevear holding there, electing to try to take more time off the clock is foul, and that's the last foul to give. 13.1 seconds left. Is Cottonwood basketball, and now any foul here on Murray will send Cottonwood to the line. And the last timeout taken here by Cottonwood. Final timeout for the Colts.
30-second timeout.
It's a 30-second timeout. We'll stay here. One more time. Boy, what a contest we've had tonight. I want to remind you, if you want to catch up on all the happenings in boys and girls basketball, there's no better place than KSLSports.com. You can join Dusty Lister and myself as we've got videos coming out each week through the rest of region play in the regular season in preparation for our state championships, where we'll have 6A, 5A coverage for you all the way to crown champions. Of course, 4A now, a lot more depth. We've seen Dixie, we've seen Cottonwood, we've seen Murray. It's a good classification, and these 2 teams hoping to be in play for a long postseason run. Gritty. What a gritty contest we've seen tonight. Can Cottonwood hold off a late Murray charge? 13 seconds left, no fouls to give for Murray and no timeouts for Cottonwood. Cox in with Rosevear, and they'll foul John. So Rosevear will look to the line as Romualdo called here for the personal, his fourth.
My math has that in
Rosevere with 2 free throws. Oh, excuse me. That's the fifth.
Lots of fives.
I thought it was just his fourth, so my apologies. Fifth on Romualdo. He is fouled out as Whitlock will come on. Meanwhile, Bo Smith will check in here for the Colts.
And now, number 15, Bo Smith.
2 free throws here for Rosevere. The Murray student section trying to make noise. 14 for John. And the first one rattles out. One more for Rosevere. Hit a pair in the third quarter. And good. And a foul given here. My apologies. Had a little clock issue trying to get that result. 8.5 seconds to go. As Rosevere, I believe, called for the foul. And a timeout here taken by Murray. Timeout. Coach Workman, it'll be a full. We'll step aside. Murray with a chance to tie or win when we come back. 8.5 seconds to go. One foul to give for Cottonwood. Meanwhile, for Murray, the hot hands were Deacon Poole and Isaiah Bay through the first 3 quarters. Neither of them have scored in this fourth. It's been Q Chrisman and Trace Wilson that have carried the balance of the scoring here in the fourth and final quarter. Where does Coach Workman go? Looking for a road win to kick off Region 10 against the Cottonwood Colts. It'll be Poole to inbound. Here's Wilson for 3. No! And it's captured by Rosevere, who is fouled with 2.9 seconds left. Will walk down, and John Rosevere will have 2 more free throws coming up to put this away for the Colts.
Deacon Poole. That's his fourth personal foul.
Poole called for the foul, his fourth.
And we've got John Rosevere at the line to shoot there.
Rosevere a chance to win it. Cottonwood looking to empty the lanes. They do have a foul to give still, but Coach Miller looking like no foul, doesn't want to risk maybe a foul on a 3. Meanwhile, Rosevere focused on putting it away. He makes it a 3-point difference. One more for John to push it to a 4-point lead. Short, rebounded by Murray. The heave for the tie, just short, and that will do it. Cottonwood starts off Region 10 with a 65-62 win over Murray. Another classic between these two. Both teams saw double-digit leads, but in the end it was Cottonwood able to put on a charge in this fourth quarter. A 16-11 fourth helps pace the Colts past Murray. Our player of the game, boy, we're going to go with a pair. We're going to go Chris Cox and John Rosevere. We talked about the fourth quarter, unofficially 16 points scored, 14 of those coming from that duo in the fourth. Cox had 7 in the fourth. Meanwhile, there were 7 in the fourth from Rosevere, including the game-winning free throws for John, as the duo of Cox and Rosevere helped Cottonwood get the 65-62 win. Thank you for joining us on KSL Sports Rewind's Game of the Week. What a game. We've got games coming up tomorrow night, and we've got games all next week as we start off region play across the state. For Doug Jardine, my name is Dane Stewart. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night, and we'll see you next time on KSL Sports coverage of high school basketball only on KSLSports.com. Good night, everybody.